Hey fam, I hope everyone has been so well these past couple weeks as the outlook has been on pause for quite some time, but now we are back with a special episode with yours truly, Clover Serenity. And the reason why today is a special episode is because it's my birthday. Hey, it's my birthday. Hey, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. And although there is so much room for celebration, I really want to also spend time talking about year 26, reflecting on year 25, and reflecting on who I am today and what should I be working towards as I am now in my late 20s. Crazy to believe that I'm 26. It feels like just yesterday I just turned 21 and now I'm 26. But first, let's start with reflecting on year 25. Whew, wow. Year 25 has been a whirlwind like no other year. I think although there were so many highs, there were many lows. Um, Year 25 started out honestly on great footing. And then I was having minor health issues that started to take a toll on me throughout the winter. Um, and then I had to get surgery. Surgery went well, but during that whole period, there was just so much uncertainty and pain in that whole process, trying to figure out what was going on with me as far as my health. And that was one thing that had eventually blew over. So that was great. And during the midst of that, I found myself, you know, I was so invested in building a community around me because I was feeling slightly lost. I just felt like some of the friends I had around me, my job, you know, just wasn't serving me. Even the things that I used to be interested in were no longer keeping me invested. So I had to put my attention elsewhere that was going to satisfy me, which is why I decided to join clubs and started to really get involved in my fitness journey and started to write a whole lot more, which eventually led me to doing this show, The Outlook. And I think also a part of that was reading, which became my escape. I was buried in a book for a good portion of year 25. And I think that was also healing for me. Finding my love for reading again has been beautiful, so healing, something that was much needed. Also, what I am so grateful for is some of the friends that I've been able to build stronger connections with. Some of my bestest friends are the ones who are not even in a 5 mile radius, okay? They're like thousands and thousands of miles away, but somehow they're my closest friends that I have. And I appreciate them so much. And I am in contact with them more than the friends that I have here, again, that I live in a 5 mile radius. And I think it goes to show that sometimes it's not about who's closest to you, it's not about who you can see often, it's about who's really touching you in a way that heals you, that brings you comfort, that brings you joy. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to build stronger connection with friends that are so far away. Because at times when I'm talking to them, it feels like they're right next to me. Um, I think something that I started to learn in year 25 is that things start to come full circle. You really start thinking about your future in a way that you probably haven't much earlier in your 20s. I think for me, I was like, I want to go back to school. I don't want to pause acting, but I definitely want to go back to school. And that's something that I'm working on right now. I was thinking, well, I definitely want to be, build strong relationships with family members that I haven't been that much in contact with since I live thousands of miles away from them. I'm in New York City, they're in Miami or other places in Florida or Georgia. And so I was like, just finding a way to just travel a bit more back home and, talk to my family more is something that I realize would be in my best interest to do. Making sure you having a strong network and support system is vital um, as you get older because listen, this life is not getting any easier. And so you definitely need to be making sure that um, that you are trying to, you know, cultivate uh this community around you, whether it's in your neighborhood or even if it's 1,000 miles away. You just never know when you might need your friends, your family, etc. I think also for me, I became more wise. I had to understand that if you really want to do something, you just gotta do it. You can't be afraid of the risk and failure. You can't continue to just hold yourself back because you don't want to go all in and waste your time, or you've been holding on to what you've known for so long, and to just switch and start over can be taxing. But the reward in the end, trust, is so great. And you will look back after receiving the reward for your hard work and go, damn, I'm so glad I jumped. I'm so glad I went all in. I didn't care about anything else because I knew that if I want the future that I talk about to myself all the time, then these are the things I have to do. So that was something that I was starting to really think about. And also, I started in terms of my relationships with people, romantic, platonic, I had to raise my standards. Um, as I get older, I got goals, I got priorities. I don't got time for anybody in my life who I can't rely on. I think oftentimes people think a friendship is just someone that you're having a good time with, and you guys get personal here and there. Not necessarily. The friendship is just more than a good time. It's someone who you can trust, someone who you can call when you might not be feeling your best, someone who's going to show up for you even when it inconveniences them. Someone who's going to applaud you when you are winning and not remain silent and wonder where they are when you win. You need those people who you can truly rely on. Otherwise, your success will be hindered. And so it's important to think about the people around you. It's time. And I struggle with that a little bit because I think about some of the people I love in my life and I go, I hate to cut them off, or I hate to decide, you know what, I don't want them in my life. I don't hate these people. I love these people, but, I'm moving up. So as I'm going, up, I can't be at the bottom where you are. I can't stay stagnant. It's not going to work out. You're going to be left right there as I'm inching towards closer to success. Because at the end of the day, I'm thinking about my future. And it's time that I get it together, you know, and I've had fun. I've had a good time in my 20s. Hell, I've been going through it, but trust in the midst of it all, I've also had a good time. But now it's time to take things very seriously. And um and I think for me, um and I think for me, I want to be at a place in my life where I don't have to struggle as much. That I want to be in a place in my life where I look at my friends and I'm like, I can rely on you. I can look you dead in your eye and say, I can rely on you. I trust you. I know you will show up for me. I know when you are probably not at your best that you'll still show up for me. I know you love me. That's where I want to be at a place in my life. I don't want to be often questioning the people around me. I want to be at a place in my life where I am financially secured. And yes, I'm young and still figuring it out, but in order to work towards that, I need to be around people who understand that and that they're on that same journey, whatever it is they want to be in their lives. And so those are the things that I been starting to really put at the top of my mind as entering my late 20s, you know, and I think for me, it's just, you know, change. I think that's the one thing I'm realize I'm always fighting. I talk about change all the time. I talk about growth all the time. But it's like I'm always playing this tug of war, it seems. And as much as I want to change, as much as I want to grow, I know that I still struggle sometimes to change because sometimes I'm thinking about how good things used to be or how much time I used to have. And now I'm here, I'm just like, did I really waste a lot of time? Or I was just doing the best I can in the best way I know how. Often think about why everything seems to be honing in my head compared to when I was 20 or 21. Is it because it's like now it feels like the clock is ticking, even though not really? Is it because I'm still thinking 30, you gotta have it all together by then? I think it's so funny because this past week I've been running into folks. I ran into someone who used to be my neighbor up in Harlem, and she's in her early 30s, and she had just returned back to school. She looks good. On a good day, if on her worst days, she still looks like a good 25. And so, and she seems to be at peace. She seems to be at calm, understanding that she's still figuring it out and she's okay with that. And that, when you turn 30, it doesn't necessarily mean everything has to be together. You can still be figuring it out. You can be at a good place at 30 and still be figuring it out. And it's okay. You're always going to be learning and growing and figuring shit out. You know, Nothing ever just stops once you think you got it all together or things just get good. It keeps going. And you just have to be working towards what you want in life every single day. And as long as you are doing that, trust, everything's going to be all right. And I'm getting emotional right now because talking about everything I just talked about and as emotional I can be, because I am an emotional person. Hell, every time my birthday comes around, I start tearing up because it's a new chapter. And I don't know if this maturity slowly kicks in every year. Um, or it's the little boy in me that's like, come on, don't give up. You got this. Don't slow down. You got this. It's okay. You got this. I know things may not be all together right now, but you got this. Um, you're devastated. I know you're in a rough period. I know you're stuck in a rut at the moment, but trust you're gonna get out of it. Okay, you got this. And oftentimes, like images of the little boy in me pops up in my head, and oh my God. Whew, only if he had a time machine to go forward in time to witness his older self go through everything he has gone through in recent years, good and bad. Whew. that little boy would have been shooketh. Oh, that little boy would have been shooketh, okay? Because I am still shooketh, okay? And I think what was something that was also getting to me this year was, oh, I'm tearing up. I need a tissue. Where's my tissue? Let me get ooh, tearing up. Ooh, ooh, why I'm crying? Ooh, ooh, and sometimes, listen, it's okay to get emotional about your birthday. You know, it's a milestone. It's a big deal. It's the next chapter. It's you turning that page. You should be grateful that you be able to, make it another year. That is huge. Okay? There has been so many people that had their lives taken away from them. They don't even get to make it to 26. And so I'm just grateful that I'm still living, being able to, thrive and, in the best way I can, and just try at whatever it is I'm trying to do over and over and over again. And, things may not be perfect, but hell, shit ain't all that bad either. And so I'm just grateful to just still be here today um, and to simply just have this conversation with you guys and vent. And because I think birthdays are really important and they must be celebrated always. Even when it's by yourself, I remember as my birthday week was coming along, because we're here, and I was like, I don't really want to spend it with anybody else. I really just want to spend it by myself. I've been thinking about what I wanted to do for my birthday, but it didn't really include friends or family. It really just included only me. I think I just wanted to just have a moment where I just enjoy my own company, my own presence, and really reflect and think about who I am and, how do I want to move forward into this next chapter. And and I thought the best way to really do that is just engage with things that are a reflection of my values. Because me personally, it's like I'm not interested in some of the things I used to be interested in for birthday celebrations. I used to love, going out at night to the club or doing big gatherings or, being in a situation that seemed a bit chaotic or disorganized. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like planning anything big. I don't feel like getting a group of people together. I love my friends, I love my family, but to be honest, I really just want to appreciate myself, celebrate me by myself. And it's not because I want to be lonely or I don't want to spend time with folks. It's just sometimes I just want to really take in the moment and sit with myself and accept the reality that, yeah, I am getting older. I mean, I'm not getting old, but older as in it's like, okay, I'm thinking about what I need to do to currently get my shit together. And so, and also be able to do the things that I want to do without feeling like I have to drag people along. I'm all over the place. Sometimes I just want to do something last minute, and then I was like, oh, it's my birthday. I don't want people to feel left out. Well, I can see these people any other day of the month. It's about me. I'm celebrating me. And, if I want to go out and, you know, listen to live jazz at a jazz lounge and just be in a mellow environment, that's what I need right now. And so, and that's what I'm doing. I did invite a few friends, so if they choose to join me, they can. If not, so be it. I'm gonna have a nice, decent time. And And I'm excited. I just need a calm, peaceful entrance into this next chapter of my life. And, although year 25 has been so rocky, um, so many lessons were learned. I think boundaries really came to the forefront. I think values really became the forefront, the theme of the year. I think another thing that really came to the forefront was interest as far as like the things that I want to do. It was like coming to the realization that, well, if you don't try this out, then you will never know. If you don't reinvent yourself, then you'll never know. Won't know until you do it. And then you'll know. And the reality is this: you have every right to be who you want to be in this world. You have every right to make as many mistakes you want in this world. You're allowed to reinvent yourself 1,000 times over every single day because why fucking not? It's your life. And so, as I enter chapter 26, I might be reinventing myself several times, probably. Whether it's my style, whether it's my career, whether it's another creative adventure, rebranding, personal branding, I don't know, but whatever it is, you know, I'm going to be open to it and I'm going to dive all in. And so there you have it. This concludes the special episode, the birthday episode with yours truly, Clovis Randy. And thank you guys for celebrating me. And before I let you guys go, how can we end this without cake? Yes, let's get this going. Yes, 26. Uh-oh. Oh, that's getting over. Wow, perfect. Woo. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Alrighty, it's time that I make a wish. Bye, guys.